Namaskar and welcome you all again to the open session. And the subject of today, I'll repeat, is in light of Supreme Court verdict on reservation, we'll talk also about PROUT policy on reservation. आरक्षण पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला और प्रौत नीति में आरक्षण. But we will talk in the very subject what was declared first. So thank you very much. And I expect any of you to raise your hands and start the session, please. Thank you. Can I ask my Poonam Didi, because being the advocate, if you can start and show that, it will be nice for us. Thank you.
Namaskar, Dada, and namaskar everyone, the present member. Today our topic is related to Supreme Court judgment.
Right.
My voice is clear, Dada?
Yes, Didi, very much. Thank you.
Okay. Then first of all, the Supreme Court says that 103 amendment, 103rd amendment of the Constitution was legalized or was continued by its judgment. Then what is this? What is 103rd? It gives the 103rd and the 3rd amendment of the Constitution of India, officially known as Constitution. 103rd Amendment Act 2019 introduces 10% reservation for economically weaker sections of society for admission to central government run educational institutions and private educational institutions. So as far as we see, these are only related to educational institutions. Now we are seeing that the reservation is being given in other different things for the week. And in November 7, the Supreme Court upheld the validity of the 103rd constitutional amendment, which provides 10% reservation to the economically weaker sections, but excludes from this quota the poorest of poor among the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, socially and educationally backward classes, and other backward classes. Here a question arises: should reservation be a mean to address poverty? Our question, Proutistic question, it may be that should the reservation be a means to address poverty? Absolutely not. Now, when we talk to then what is the need of this type of reservations? Only to allow the different sections of the society. They are giving that that forward class could not come in the protest of government, and these are just alluring agenda, nothing more than that. If you give 10% reservation to anyone, is it sufficient for the rest of the 90% population to give their mouthful of bread? I don't think so. Another thing, that can reservation be provided to group class of individuals without proof of inadequate representation? Reservation for SCs, STs, and OBC were introduced with proof that these communities were not adequately represented, but this is not the case with the EWS quota. And the one question, the court said that the 50% cap is not inflexible. There is a case of Jharkhand High Court. Jharkhand recently passed, not High Court, this is the legislative. Jharkhand recently passed a bill raising quotas to 77%. Many states are trying to do this. Does the judgment allow the 50% cap to breach for the SC, ST, OBC quotas? These are questions which are being arised. And now we can see what the judges are saying in their favor. By majority, there were 5 judges. I think all of us know their names. If required, I will pronounce their names, but I think it is not required. So, but to introduce the 3 to 5, there was a majority of decision 3 to 5, and in the minority, our Chief Justice was in a minority decision. There are 3 judges: Justice Dinesh Maheshwari, E. Bela M. Trivedi, and J.P. Pardiwala delivered the majority opinion on the 5-judge bench in a hour-long session that saw the pronouncement of a constitution bench judgment. And Chief Justice U. Lalit on his last working day and Justice S. Ravindra Bhatt gave the minority view. These 2 judges have same opinion, and the other 3, Dinesh Maheshwari, Bela Trivedi, and J.P. Pardiwal, has one view, and they were in the majority because there was 5 judge bench and 3 judge bench. Whatever they say is the majority opinion, and that will prevail. Now, Justice Maheshwari took the expansive view that the reservation was an instrument of affirmative action by the state and should not be confined to the SCs, STs, ACBCs, and the non-creamy layer of the OBC, but also include any class or section so disadvantageous as to ensure the description of the weaker section. And thus, Justice Trivedi noted that the legislature understands and appreciates the needs of its own people. 3 judges held that reservation and economic criterion alone did not violate basic structure. These are the statement of our judges, which has different opinions, the 2 judges. And now, Dada, if anyone wants to say something, otherwise we will continue further.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you very much for briefing in the very beginning. And anyone would like to add to the value or any point, you can please raise your hands. I would like to say something about, there is a mention about the financial condition, I mean, who can avail. And there comes a word which is very famous, the creamy layer. So this word is income criteria is usually reviewed every 3 years, as I know. The last review was in 2017 when the BJP-led NDA government had raised it to 6 lakhs to 8 lakhs in 2013. The government annual income criteria was raised from 4.5 lakhs to 6 lakhs under the Congress-led UPA government. So this keeps changing. And before 2020 review, this ministry formed a panel under the retired Secretary BP Sharma in March 2019, and the recommendation is yet not come, but possibility is that it will be raised from 8 lakhs to 12 lakhs. So something like that. A new thing has come, which I would like to know from you, that what is this 8 lakh plus this 1500 square feet? I mean, this criteria was very typical. So if we are here, I mean, Didi, please. So anybody have any views, please? I know it's a quite technical matter, but we can talk in our area, our understanding. So we'll conclude with what PROUT says about that. So that will come at the end. So any other advocate, brother or sisters? Yes, somebody has raised hands. Who is there? Yes, Pranav Devji, thank you very much.
Namaskar. Dada, your voice is inaudible. It is cracking. It's cracking, Dada.
My voice?
Am I audible?
Yes, very much. You can continue, Dada. Yes, you are audible.
I would speak less, very less, to the point.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Dada, in economy weaker section now we are discussing on reservation, 10% quota. Dada, central government through parliament decided to provide 10% quota to economic weaker section. And that was challenged before Supreme Court. And Supreme Court only did that it validates that Supreme Court give force to the legal force to this quota, this amendment to the constitution which provides quota to the economic weaker section. But I am of the view that it is better than nothing. Our PROUT, as per our PROUT philosophy, we have reservation like this. One is first preference is poor, backward. Dada, if I am not wrong, you can
yes, you are right. You are right. Poor and backward. There's a definition of backward is different in PROUT. Yes.
Yes. Next is poor, non-backward. Right?
Yeah.
And next non-poor, backward. Then fourth one is non-poor, non-backward. So we are in second this 10% quota fulfills our demand number 2, that poor non-backward, if I am not wrong, Dada.
Yeah, that way you are right. Yes. But basically, Prout, as a principle, we don't believe in reservation because it will not be required.
Yes.
But still, Prout established. Baba
Yes.
says yes, it can be.
Right. Till the poor alleviates, till the poverty alleviates, till then the reservation will continue as per our PROUT philosophy. So in second hour, that poor non-backward PROUT system is now central government is taking step towards that poor non-backward. So our approach is, we should not be happy in this. We should not be feel content. It's a small step, but it should be.
Your voice is not audible. Pranav Devji, your voice is not audible. Probably your Wi-Fi is weak. Okay, anyway, Madhusudhan Dada, can you please unmute yourself? Madhusudhan Dada.
Okay.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
This is a very interesting topic.
Yeah.
I'm not so familiar with the Indian situation, so I will talk about American situation.
Of course. Baba is talking about the entire world.
Yes, of course. And first I have to say that PROUT is not here to solve the problems of capitalism. So the issue we're dealing with here is purely a result of the defects of capitalism. And that the distribution of wealth and resources is not equitable under capitalism. So there's many people who suffer. And so the issue of reservation or quotas, or here they call it affirmative action. And actually there's a case before the US Supreme Court right now because some universities have allocated spaces for minorities in their admissions. And the Supreme Court looks like maybe middle of next year, they're going to overrule that and make it illegal. And so the universities that were allocating spaces for minorities won't be allowed to reserve those spaces anymore, which is an attempt to rectify inequity that those groups in our society have not traditionally had adequate access to higher education. And it goes for so many aspects of society. That being said, even in Ananda Marga, we target our social service work toward those people who are the suffering humanity. We don't necessarily provide relief to the wealthy people. We provide relief to the hungry people. And so, but the social service projects that we do in Ananda Marga should not be confused with PROUT. Under PROUT, our system is welfare of all. And so everybody will be taken care of and there won't be an issue. For example, in the United States, one of the problems is that the minority group, particularly African Americans, have been traditionally not able to accumulate wealth. So the average wealth of the average African American home is much less wealth of the average white person. Now under PROUT, that's not an issue because wealth is not owned. It is we deal with in PROUT, we deal with utilization, we don't deal with wealth. But in capitalism, everything is based on how much you own. And so those people who don't have ownership of resources, they always suffer in society. So all these things are to rectify the issues of the defects of capitalism, which is not bad, but it will not prevent the downfall of capitalism. So there's no reason why we should not support the welfare of those people that have been harmed by the capitalist defects, but that is not our solution. It is only a temporary program. Thank you.
That's true, but here again, question Dada, that why is that in United States, even there are minorities reservation in educational institutions are even being denied? What is the basic purpose?
That's political.
Okay, fine, thank you. Yes, Surendra Dada, please.
Namaskar to all participants. Here, I just want to focus on how the words are being in use in PROUT with regard to this issue. Because the solution given by Baba is supposed to apply to all the societies in the world. So he has used the terminology accordingly, actually. So we have to understand, first of all, the terminology, not to confuse it with our own country specific kind of definitions, country specific kind of usages. So here, Baba has only given two things. One is backward and also forward. But instead of using the word forward, he said backward and non-backward. He uses the terms backward and non-backward. He does not use the word forwarding. So, but for our understanding, let us go by this thing is one is backward. Society is divided. Any society in the world, maybe America, maybe India, or maybe China, and all that. So there will be two things. One, that is one important thing. And second thing is that then he goes forward and says, defines what does he mean by backward. We have to define backwardness. So he says backward means families who did not get any services or education in the past. That is for generations, for centuries, the community had no opportunity of proper education.
Yes,
See, your Dalits are there, tribals are there, and all those people. Basically, when you go background, see, if you have a background of education, educated parents, it's a different thing. But when you have come from a family wherein there were nobody previously in your what you call generation or in your families, education was not there or not provided education. So that means he made a very important criteria that families who did not get any services, that means they were not having services and education in the past. Thus the criteria for receiving preference. Okay, this is one part of it. Then he has used another term, that is preferential services and education should be. So his policy is that preferential system of reservations. See, PROUT's policy has been termed as preferential system of reservations. So, what is the preferential system of reservations? Here he has given, of course, simply the first category in the preferential system of reservations is poor people coming from the backward families. The second category is poor people coming from the others, that is rather forward, you can say forward, but he has used the term non-backward. So non-backward, that means he has given first of all, he has defined backward class, and he said the first category is you have to give the preference to, first preference is given to the poor from the backward classes. Then he goes on to say, second preference should be given to the people who are poor in the non-backward, or I will rather call it forward, whatever it is. Then third preference he wants us to give should go to the non-poor people coming from the backward families. Because I told you in India we are having this controversy of the creamy layer and all that, even among the reservations. So here he says that the third preference should be given to the people who come from the backward families. But they are non-poor. Backward families, but non-poor. Then fourth preference, he says, should be go to the non-poor people coming from the forward classes or non-poor, non-backward classes. You got the point. See, only first of all, society is divided into backward and forward, and then he has this.
That is what Pranavji explained. Yes.
Preferential. What do you call? He calls it preferential system of reservations. We should call PROUT's policy of reservation is termed as preferential system of reservation, and we have to explain this a little bit be confusing because the kind of language, the terms used in the Indian context, there are several OBC, BC, so many things are there, minorities and all those things. But Baba has stuck to only two kind of definitions. One is backward and one non-backward.
Right.
And he has given four categories between the forward and between the backward and the non-backward. and he has said is a preferential system of this thing. Then I'll go to the point that Baba wants importance given to the economic criteria. Economic backwardness. In fact, in this particular judgment also, it is supposed to be EWS. That is, he says, economically weaker section, economically poor.
Yes.
So the concept, in one way, there is a certain focus, as earlier Pasayat also has said, that we have to say, we have to be little comfortable with this judgment, because the criteria of economic backwardness has been brought to the fore, or brought to the front. So in this particular issue, and I think you already, okay, again next time around we'll try to discuss if any other points are raised about it.
Okay.
But we have to stick to the understand this. Oh, Haran Dada wants to say something.
Now wait, Dada. Govardhan Da, please.
Okay.
Can
I say a few words now?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Shall I start, Dada?
Dada,
Wait.
Dada, let Govardhan Da
Yeah.
first, please. Thank you. Okay, Govardhan Ji, please.
No. He has to say something on what I said.
Yeah.
The track will
Dada.
go.
Please.
Govardhan Dada, wait.
Shall I start? Yeah.
Haran Dada will
Shall
start.
I
1
wait,
minute.
Dada?
Okay, Govardhan Ji, you wait. Yes, Haran Da, please. Unmute yourself.
Okay, Dada. Oh.
Yes, Dada, I would say only two things, nothing
Yeah.
new. The, 103rd amendment, as
Yes.
referred by Poonam Didi, was basically a paradigm shift in the legal thinking, in the legal and political thinking, because the focus shifted when we talked about EWS. The term itself shifts the focus of stratification of Indian society based on caste to class. Now, so this is a paradigm shift in thinking, in legal and political thinking of this country, and reflected in constitution, that the Indian society, although for thousands of years we have been thinking in terms of caste, now we also think in terms of class.
Section, yeah.
So that's a paradigm shift in thinking, because for thousands of years we are talking in terms of caste, and still reservation has been patterned on that basis of caste. Now this is introducing a new concept of class. Now PROUT philosophy is totally in sync with this, because the method of preferential treatment, as Surendra Reddy Dada rightly pointed out, talks about classes, and one may get confused. The word backward and non-backward is strictly having the connotation of a class, because the criterion is well decided: education and services.
Yeah.
It does not talk about Savarn and other Varnas. It talks about two very objective scientific criteria: those who have been deprived of education, 1; services, 2. So it is a pure division, scientific division, based on the class formation of society. So this is a fundamental change that was brought in the Indian Constitution. So this amendment of this 103rd amendment and insertion of two clauses, 15(6) and 16(6). So these are basically historical clauses added, and adding a new dimension to the whole concept. And now one more thing that Madhusudan Dada pointed out, he was right that PROUT does not believe in such ameliorative, transient, intermittent treatment. This is like adding, some balm to a case of surgery. If somebody needs a surgical intervention, medication may not help in a long course, but yes, immediate relief has to be given. So reservation is based on that pattern. But let us not forget that it applies to the whole world, because hardly 10 countries of the world, right from Spain, Portugal, England, Denmark. So hardly 10 countries of the world have colonized the whole world. We all know that Africa, the whole map of Africa was drawn on a table. That's why we see straight lines on the African map. And we also know how Israel was created overnight. Anyways, so when the whole world is colonized, and we also know that USA was also a colony of England, and it had to fight its own great war of independence in 1776 to get freedom from the political clutches of England. So the entire world has suffered in this due to this colonialism, and now this new colonialism, which is a result of capitalistic framework of systems, of capitalist system and of governance. Now, so every country of this world needs, it may be ameliorative, it may be a palliative, it may be a transient measure. I agree with Masudan Dada, but overnight, a complete social overhaul is not possible. So for people who have been, ruled and overruled, suppressed, marginalized all across the world, whether they are tribals, whether they are blacks, whether, in many countries, white race has also been suppressed. It is not that. For example, the crusade between Catholics and Protestants, on both sides of the fence, they were white races, people who were having the same color. So all across the world, discrimination has been taking place for thousands of years. People need to be supported, brought into the mainstream. So mainstreaming has to be done. And this PROUT approach is basically an attempt at mainstreaming those who have been put on the sidelines, who have been marginalized, suppressed for centuries. So that was my small submission. The present judgment is very much in the direction of PROUT, though it fulfills only one aspect, as rightly pointed out by one esteemed speaker. And one beautiful line was quoted by one of the judges of Honorable Apex Court: unequals cannot be treated equally. So this was one of the, catchphrases used by, and the judge said that as equals cannot be treated equally, unequals cannot be treated equally. So those who are socially unequal, we cannot just assume, yes, they are equals. Efforts have to be made to bring them on par with provision of proper education and adequate service support. So it's a very positive direction that the Honorable Apex Court has taken. And I think PROUT philosophy is in total sync with EWS reservation. This is my personal view. Thank you.
Yes, Dada, that's why Constitution was made, that marginalized people should be given preference. Yes.
Yes.
The Govardhanji, please. Thank you.
Namaskar, Dada. Actually, people have gone to the court against this 103rd constitutional amendment mainly because of the two reasons. Because reservations have been. Dada, am I audible, Dada?
Yeah, very much. Thank you.
Yeah, it is premised on the fact that inadequate representation. One is inadequate representation. Second is the social and educational backwardness. So since EWS do not fulfills these two, it goes against these two, because here for EWS people, neither inadequate representation also not covered, and at the same time they are not socially and educationally backward. That's why people thought that it is against the rule of equality and the provisions of the Constitution. That's why they have gone to the court. Finally, but the court, particularly this 3:2 majority, so they validated the EWS provision of 10% quota. So BJP people, as far as the educational institutions are concerned, particularly the central educational institutions, first they increased the number of seats, then they applied the EWS quota. So as far as in the educational field, particularly in the central government educational institutions, be it IIITs, IITs, NITs, etc., it is not creating much problem, because it will not depriving any other people, because already seats have been increased and those seats are being provided to the people of EWS. And another thing I want to bring to the notice of the people, that actually the difference between the reservation system of outsiders and ours is that PROUT's concept is that outside people's reservations are based on the fact that social and educational backwardness was taken into consideration and inadequate representation was taken into consideration. But in Proutistic system, we take, actually PROUT do not prefer the reservation system at the first point, but since the level playing field is not available, right, we could not create the level playing field for everyone today. So as long as the poverty is not eradicated as a temporary measure, so educationally backwardness and economical backwardness, these two factors are being taken into consideration, and Surendra Reddy Dada already explained about it. There is no need of an explanation further. But the fact is in the latest judgment, Dada, this 50% cap, one of the judges, his name is Justice Dinesh Maheshwari, he said that you need not stick to the 50% cap of reservation for SC, ST and OBC. If you want, you can increase also. Recently, certain government, including Telangana government, now there is a demand from the Dalit Christians and poor Muslim people and other peoples for the demand of reservations.
Yeah.
So since one judge is saying like this 50% cap can be removed, so obviously there will be a lot of demand for further reservations. So it may exceed the 50% easily. So this will create problem for others. And moreover, EWC is based income certificate. If you show 80,000 right now, 8 lakh per annum. For your gross, in parents' gross,
right. I told that.
You are treated as a creamy layer person. You are unfit for the EWS reservation. But except government salary people, others can easily get the income certificate from the revenue department. It's not a big deal. Similarly, the 5 acres quota is also there for agriculture people. So if it exceeds more than 5, you are not eligible. So these things are there. But we should remember that Constitution in the beginning say that reservation must be meant for a particular only for a small period until the poverty is removed. But unfortunately, even after the 7 decades, we could not remove the poverty and same number of jobs, and we are increasing the reservation. This is causing a sort of social unrest, particularly in the rich people, students from the rich communities and brilliant students from the income exceeds 8 lakhs. So that's why we must try to eradicate the poverty and we must try to generate the employment. That will be the our priority.
Right.
This is what I want to say.
Thank you very much, Sada. Anybody else, kindly raise your hands. I would like to say 2 things before you raise the hand. Kindly, what is this? Okay, fine. So, Baba has very clearly says that though he's talking about reservation, selected reservation, as Reddy Dada and Pradhan Dada told, Baba says, however, job reservation is not in tune with the ideology of PROUT. That is, when PROUT established, nobody will feel the necessity of job reservation because everybody progress is guaranteed in PROUT. In the Proutistic system, people will not seek the job will seek people. But what just Dr. Govardhan was saying that it was supposed to elevate the poverty, but that's what I told in the very beginning. This is being used as a tools for politicians. And there is no policy which goes in direction of PROUT to elevate the poverty. So this remained to be a tool for playing. And even you can see Stalin at Tamil Nadu, how they have refused this proposal, where this proposal is quite accurate enough so that nobody have a question. Even the bigger critics are silent. One more thing that Baba is mentioning, and that is how I am supporting this, in my view, is that criteria for receiving preferential services and education should not be birth affiliation, but a person economic condition. A so-called low-cost shoe repairman may be economically well off. Thus, the advantage of jobs reservation is superfluous for him and misleading for society. There is no need for jobs reservation in these circumstances. On the other hand, in the context of India, there may be a Maithili Brahmin who comes from a so-called high caste family, but he is economically very poor. Jobs reservation is essential for him and would increase the economic standard of the entire society. That is what is in tune with the present amendment. And this only I wanted to say, and kindly raise your hands. Let there be more participation. Thank you. Surendu Dada, I think you are a historian, so from where this reservation came in picture, I think we should study that part also. Who made us colonize so much that we started thinking? You are muted.
I don't think I can throw any light on this, but I would like to make one important observation made by one of our commentators of PROUT. That what is PROUT? PROUT is equal opportunity legislation. Can you understand? This is a beautiful terminology he has used. What he said, what is PROUT? PROUT is equal opportunity legislation. In other words, he said, the laws will be made, the regulations will be made so that all the human beings will get equal opportunity. That is a level playing field. That's what our Gordon Dada also has mentioned, that which we are looking forward to. That here, see, what is PROUT economy is entirely designed to see that every human being gets equal opportunity, because diversity is taken for granted. You see, diversity is the natural thing. So, but however, what is required is everybody must get equal opportunity. That is equal opportunity legislation. Legislation means the government. Legislation means the constitution. Legislation means the laws. Legislation means the regulations. So he wants that PROUT is equal opportunity legislation.
Right. So thank you very much. And one more point is coming to our mind before, please get involved, say something. Something is coming to my mind is that that is how politicians play with us, you know. How much job exists for the reserved category? That's a very limited slot. And there the reservation people are asking for, and they are happy or not happy for. Whereas PROUT says the engagement in wealth creation of entire population. So there is a fundamental difference of the concept also, that what job we define today, that I will get service, I will get so much money, and job means government job, at least. That's a very thin band of the existing job creation. And for that, they make us allure, make us happy, and they do the politics around that reservation. Anyway, Varun Kumarji, kindly unmute yourself and speak. Thank you so much.
Namaskar to everyone.
Namaskar, Varunji.
We often hear the argument that the reservation policy that was started in India, the basic issue was of representation. And what we have discussed right now, the PROUT's policy of what we call, if not reservation, whatever it is, then how it solves the representation issue. That the representation issue, that in the higher class job, there were particularly a marginalization of some caste or some sections of the society. So that was the issue because of which reservation came into being. So how, if this policy of PROUT is implemented, will it solve this representation issue? Or is this PROUT's policy a safeguard against such things so that it may not happen in future?
Yes, there is a point we will discuss. Before that, if you have something more to say. Otherwise I will ask Srijan Muralidharan to speak. Yes, sir.
No, I want I have nothing to say, but this was the
Yes, very
query
good
that I
question,
had.
Dada. We will go through what PROUT says. And before that, we would like to hear Sirja Muralidharan. Please, Didi.
Yes, Dada. As I said, I'm in the train, so I may not be able to talk much.
Fine.
But just one point that, one point that comes to my mind is what really disturbs people in raising economic condition as a criteria is because it's objective. It cannot be just getting extended because the whole reservation policy is a temporary measure. It was intended temporary and only to raise people to the level playing field. Now, when it comes to economic condition, it is something very objective and it can
Your voice is breaking, Didi.
cheap
Sorry.
jobs, the cheap education is one salary classes. Yes, this is the problem. The aspect I want to say is
Didi, WhatsApp, I'll read for you, please. Or put in chat box. Thank you.
It is voice is not able to hear.
Yeah, because he's in train, so he's not able to. Sorry, Didi, you're not audible. Okay, anybody else, please? Yes, we will go to the brother Varun was asking. So I think we should talk something on that. Anybody can give answer to the Varun Dada question?
May I could not hear quite well. What was the question of Varun Kumarji?
Varunji was telling Dada that reservation was started for the marginalized people to uplift them because they were suppressed for, in past. So for that, what PROUT says?
No, Dada.
No, Dada, that is wrong.
That is
wrong.
Okay, Varunji, you please repeat. Varunji, please.
Dada, I was saying that the reservation that started in India, it was basically because there was very low representation of some sections of people in the government jobs, or we can say that high level jobs. There was very low representation, and when it was found out in the SEBC, that is socially and educationally backward data. I forget the name, that Kaka Kalelkar committee was there. They found out the reason, and they found out that there is a merging of caste and this educational and social backwardness. That there is some tally in that. Those sections of the society that are said to be low caste, that they also come under the socially and educationally backward sections. And this issue was that this was the reason that there was low representation of those sections, and that is why the government started this reservation program. That since there is very low representation, so we ought to give them some helping hand. And I was asking that the PROUT policy that we have discussed right now, how this policy safeguards from any such thing that that may happen, or that it may not happen in future. If we implement this, are we sure that there is no such issue of what we call representation? So that was my question.
The thing is, if we talk in terms of PROUT policy, Baba is talking that we don't believe in reservation, because our system is 100% in engagement, 100% job creation. It's not like employment. We don't believe in employment also. PROUT believes in wealth creation by people themselves, and everybody will be owner. Nobody is a worker in PROUT system. You see, PROUT system is large scale industry and key industries and small industries. Key industries are run by the government. All right. So there only 10% people, white collar job people, will be all managing the key industries. But the 90%, of the work, economic activity, will be organized in a manner of cooperatives, where everybody will be shareholder. When everybody is shareholder, then 90% people become the shareholder, workers. They are not employed workers, but they are shareholder workers. You see, so nobody is a job seeker or employment, seeker. Everybody is. You participate, you work, and you earn your salary, and also earn the dividend, the profit share also. So the PROUT concept is completely radically different. Radically different. We don't wait for any certificate of poverty, or we don't wait for any certificate of lower caste, SC, ST, OBC, these, that, all nonsense politically, political tools that they have used. These does not exist in PROUT system. Nobody is SC, ST, nobody is OBC, nobody. We say Jat Pat ki karo bidai, mana mana bhai bhai. And even not women reservation, 100%, whosoever is there, everybody will be engaged in new kinds of job will be created. The jobs which are unpaid today, mothers, grandmothers, they're all having social value. If you go by Baba's elaborate thinking in Neo-Humanism book, there's a existential value that should also be paid. The grandmothers who are grandfathers, grandmothers, retired people who are spending time with the new generation, grandchildren. Oh my God, such a huge value they are putting into society's future. You see, how can you leave them dependent on the mercy of somebody else? No, they are shaping up the mind of the new generation for the newer society tomorrow, and they will die out themselves. So even those people, everybody has sufficient income for their economic needs, for their well-to-do life. Minimum standard of living will be defined, and everybody must get that much at least. So when you go by PROUT's pure system of PROUT, of course that will take phases, first phase 1, 2, 3 to achieve that. But yes, PROUT system will be like that. So this game of social backwardness and the game of economically weaker section, I tell you, as you have discussed very correctly, it is a political gimmick, and this political gimmick is not going to end as long as there is political democracy at work.
Right.
It's not going to end. And Madhusudan ji has told very clearly, very, very nicely he has put it. PROUT's job is not to solve the problem created by other ideologies. Capitalism, ideology of capitalism creates its own kind of problems in society. Communist socialistic ideology creates its own kind of problems in the society. Our work is not there how to solve the problem, how to clean the dirt and the filth left behind by other people. No. We don't believe in wasting our time there. Yeah, that is the point to be understood. Madhusudan ji wants to say something.
Madhusudan ji, please. Thank you. Unmute yourself.
Get on here. Okay. Namaskar. It became interesting to me when you mentioned the issue of reservation in jobs, because that I call there's a concept they call the tail wagging the dog. You know what that means? When the tail wags the dog, and that's what's happening. You're trying to fix the problem on the back end, on the front end that's caused in the back end. That is why. Well, there's two reasons why there's even a talk about reservation in jobs. One is discrimination, where there's people were intentionally kept out of jobs. But the other is lack of training. So why would you give, when you have a job that's available and that job has some requirements for training and qualifications, why would you give the job to somebody who's unqualified just because they fit into a certain category? That's not the proper way. The proper way is to make sure that everybody, no matter what their background is, has the qualifications to apply for that job. So then the issue of reservation in jobs doesn't occur. The issue comes in preparing people for the jobs. And that's where you have to really make the effort to bring people's standard up. Thank you.
Thank you, Dadaji.
Interesting, yes, interesting. As long as you have a system that goes on producing new kind of social backwardness and new kinds of economic backwardness. Naturally, any type of this kind of, patchwork you do is not going to solve the problem. Can you imagine our honorable Prime Minister? He said that, the black money from Switzerland will be brought back into India within 100 days. Okay. That was not done. Okay, that much is understood why it was not done. He is still working. They are still working on that. But there is no excuse to explain that the amount of money went to Switzerland has doubled in this period. I mean, you are not able to bring back the money. That is understood because there was memo of understanding between Congress Party government and the Switzerland government and an end. All right, it takes time to do. 100 days is not sufficient for that. That is okay. But how do you explain that the amount of wealth transferred to Switzerland has become doubled from 2014 till now? There is no way to explain that, and nobody talks about that. Everybody is very comfortable. BJP is very comfortable. Congress is very comfortable. Non-political people are very comfortable. IS officers are very comfortable. All ministers are very comfortable because today is free for everyone to send money to Switzerland. I'm telling you, this is my statement. Everybody is free to send their money to Switzerland. Now, if you start doing like that, and the rupee's value goes on depreciating, now it's 80 rupees. It will be 85 rupees. It will be 100 rupees. Nobody damn care. Nobody damn care. Nobody cares at all. So the problems will go on coming. This social backwardness goes on multiplying. There used to be only 2-3 categories of social backwardness when the constitution was being written. Right. Now there are how many kinds of social backwardness are defined. And I bet you give 10 years more and there will be 2-3 more categories of social backwardness will appear.
People are fighting to be listed.
It is endless. It is endless. They will go on creating avenues for debating more and for creating more this kind of confusion in the society, and more categorization, more money making, more pocket filling, and more money sent to the Switzerland. So where is the end? Where is the end? Ponder about it, please.
Thank you. Anybody, please. And one more thing in addition to what Dada explained. Baba says that the Proutistic solution order follows the principle of sarva, jana, hitaya. That is, PROUT is for the welfare of all. So there is no question of some sectorial concept. Nobody is suppressed or oppressed. PROUT supports the rule of sadvipras. We all know that what sadvipras is. Only sadvipras can guarantee the all-round welfare of all groups of people, because sadviprasa represents the interest of all classes in society. Baba, one more thing says, which will maybe answer one more question which was coming. Until PROUT is established, here is some work till the PROUT exists completely. Baba says that special effort should be made to protect the interest of the backward classes. For example, he is giving an example. Tribal people are among the most deprived of the backward classes in Tripura, Manipur, part of India, and in other countries of the world as well, as Dada was mentioning. And tribal people are poor and illiterate. The special steps should be taken immediately to enhance their socio-economic development. Such a step should be included in removal of the educational inequalities, the widespread establishment of cottage industries, which has been not existing now, proper agricultural facilities, especially the irrigation water, self-reliance in energy production, such as electricity, increased communication facilities like phone, and better transport infrastructure as trains. So, Baba, that is how giving these facilities, you can increase the economical development of that particular section of the society or the ethnicity. But that is how you can do it till the PROUT establishes itself. And Baba has already, many have explained that in which 4 sections you can go till PROUT established. Thank you, Dada. Anybody else, please? Yeah, I think we need not wait for 1.5 hours. If nothing is there, we can close down. We have already passed 1 hour. So kindly, if anybody have any opinion, kindly put your points forward. Otherwise, we'll be closing this session.
I think there could be many more people speaking. And Poonam Kumari Didi, Advocate Poonam Kumari, who has who gave the opening, remarks on the topic. She should reflect back further and give us more wisdom on this topic. And then Madhusudanji will come after that.
Yes.
Didi Poonam Kumari, please.
Poonam Didi, do you have anything in mind? Kindly speak. Thank you.
Yeah, again the same thing, Dada, that why the limitation is 8 lakhs, and
Yeah.
when 2 lakhs is the limitation for the IT return, income tax. If you have the income of more than 2 lakh, then you are eligible to pay the income tax, or you are liable to pay that. Then why 8 lakh limitation is for economically weaker section? This may be a question
Correct.
today.
Very, very correct. Yes, you're right.
And
So this indicates, Poonam Didi, this
Yes.
indicates what is going on even at the highest level of the apex code. Constitution bench is not fully informed, is not taking every factor into account when they discuss the topics. Even a common person can say that if for income tax you are putting the cap to 2 lakh rupees, where from this idea comes 8 lakh rupees?
They are saying the constitution amendment came with the considerable political
Excuse me,
legitimacy.
Dada.
Let her speak, please, and then you will come. Yes. Didi.
They are saying, Dada, that with considerable political legitimacy as well, few members voted against it. Means no one has voted against it, or very few have voted against it. That's why the court could not have later stuck it down. This is the limitation of court, Dada.
And
Yes.
and you remember there was a time during Prime Minister office of Manmohan Singh ji. It was said that people who earn 18 rupees, more than 18 rupees a day is not poor. Is not poor. Okay. Now 2 lakh rupees and 18 rupees a day, 19 rupees a day, and 8 lakh rupees. I mean, what's happening in the mind of the lawmakers? Please, is there any way to understand that there is some consistency? Does it explain? Does it indicate that people are really doing their job, or they're just doing their logic for logic's sake, or just countering each other and just making any law like that? When you say that a person earning more than 18 rupees is not a poor person, then where from comes 8 lakh rupees? The question is here.
The court, all the courts have their own limitation, that they can't give judgment beyond the precedents or the statutory laws which are given. They are abiding by those things. They are not independent.
That is true. That is true. But when the parliament is making a world level, global declaration, a person earning 18 rupees, more than 18 rupees a day is not a poor in this country. And does it come to 2 lakh rupees in a year, 365 days, and 18 rupees, say 20 rupees a day? Does it make to 2 lakh rupees poverty line? Or what is happening? Income tax?
This is the same thing, Dada, that if my chance comes, I will make a different line, and if your chance comes, the line will be different.
Right. So the country exists, or the political ideology governs the country.
Yeah, definitely.
That is the
We
issue.
cannot ignore that.
You see? Okay, Madhusudan ji, please.
Okay. All of this that we've been talking about is all legislative government stuff. There's also that's like a top down effort. There's also bottom up effort, and I want to explain some practical thing that was done here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I want to tell a little story about my wife. She was passed away earlier this year. She was a very active Proutist, and she some few years ago, formed an organization here in Charlotte called the International Minority Coalition. And they were bringing together leaders of all the different minority groups in the community. And when all these people came together, they realized when you unite all the minorities, they become the majority. And so these people had previously not been talking to each other. In fact, the capitalist divide and rule policy gets the minorities to think that they're each other's enemy and they fight against each other. But this idea is uniting the minorities also helps to develop some awareness and political pressure from those groups because they have political power. It shouldn't just be, we shouldn't just wait for the grace of our elected politicians and court appointees to solve this problem on somehow their own by somehow becoming enlightened overnight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very, very interesting. If the minority people are put together, they become the majority voice already. But nobody allows them to become together. They're being educated that you are enemy of each other and keep fighting, so that they can never have a joint voice. If they become a joint voice, they become majority already. Very interesting. And that was established by our own Proutist, the wife of Madhusudan ji. She was a great Proutist from her student life itself. So, and she did some organization work there, some organizing of this minority group in that district together. Yes, please. Next paper.
Baba says in capitalism or democracy, the state is theoretically for the welfare of the majority, but the practice, it is the rule of the minority, that is vaeshyas, that is capitalists. Other groups of people are supposed to become second-grade citizens.
So democracy actually, by proper post-mortem, not post-mortem, but proper analysis, actually it is rule of the minority, not the rule of the majority.
Dada, just
yes,
1 minute.
Yes, please,
yeah.
yes. Go
With
ahead.
regard to that, income limit 8 lakhs, we discussed, Dada. Actually, that 8 lakh limit is not a big limit, Dada, to be frank. These days, to educate your child, engineering, 1 year it requires nearly 4 lakhs, Dada, in centrally funded institutions. Hostel fee and tuition fees together, nearly 4 lakhs it will come. I am educating my son. So 4 lakh limit, 8 lakh limit is not a big deal, Dada.
It is not for you, Dada.
And moreover, below 8 lakh, anyway, they are getting EWS quota, no?
Yes.
So that's why, so after going through all these factors, they put this limit, 8 lakhs limit. That is not a big deal. Dada. In the 7th pay commission, even a clerk attender in central government, they will get this amount.
But then what is the logic? But then what is the logic of what is the logic of putting the cap for tax-free income?
Dada, if we go by this logic, below 8 lakhs, we cannot. That means that person cannot educate his child.
No, it
will be deprived of education,
cannot educate. No, it is not that everybody is at your level and your school people are going to educate.
I think we should be. No. I think we should be glad that India is becoming America.
No,
now.
Dada.
Wait a minute. I have one anecdote. I have one anecdote.
When I know.
I have one anecdote to tell you, Govardhanji. You will continue.
Yeah.
Just one thing. One sentence I will add. We should be glad enough, and we should celebrate that India has become America already. In the sense that in America, majority of number of people, you need 2 income to run a family. In India also now, as Govardhanji is putting, that you cannot educate your child unless you have 2 incomes. Husband and wife both have to have income. Otherwise, you cannot educate your children. Education to higher education, not possible. So India is gradually becoming America, that you cannot build a family unless husband and wife both are working, earning money to raise a family. Yes, Govardhanji, please continue.
Yeah, that's why that anyway, people with low income group, they are eligible for EWS. They'll get. But this 8 lakh limit, if you further reduce, many people, they will be deprived of this opportunity also.
That's fine. But I is saying that basis should be very clearly spelled out. What is the basis?
They set up a committee and they take all the inflation and other things into consideration, and they'll put that limit, Dada.
Fine. So that is
blindly
why
they are not putting that limit.
But I was also saying that people with 8 lakh income should be also exempted from income tax.
Yeah. But that is not taking place, no, Dada.
Why?
That is not taking place. So actually, what we are Yes, Dada. To be frank, our PROUT policy is against the reservation, as Baba in the beginning itself he said. So just for the
Also
time
against
being, for the
reservation
time
and
being, in
also
the present
against income tax.
circumstances,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
this topic we are discussing, keeping the present circumstances in the mind. It is purely situational and contingency approach.
Of course, it is situational. But Dada,
Yeah,
one more
purely
thing.
situational. Yeah.
Govardhan,
So we are discussing. Yeah.
in this regard, there is one data.
But
Just
ultimately,
let us analyze. Govardhan,
we must strive for the 100% employment through through Proutistic this vision.
Dada, in
Thank you.
2013, the gross annual income criteria was raised from 4.5 lakhs to 6 lakhs. Means 2013 until date now it is going to be 16 lakhs. Sorry, 12 lakhs, which is going to be proposed in 2020. So what I want to say is 6 to 12. I mean, in 7 years. It means the poverty has, the value has gone half, the rupees value. That can be one criteria, because 6 lakh was done in the year 2013, and now 2020 proposal is 12 lakhs.
Yeah. Generally, that 8% inflation they'll take into consideration, Dada.
Yeah, that
yearly. So for them, that is.
Anyway,
these are just number games. Just Okay, Acharya Krishna Sundarananda.
Yes, Dada.
Namaskar, Dadaji. In my opinion, whatever this reservation government has brought, it is not for the upliftment of the people. It is just for the appeasement for the vote.
Absolutely.
Because there was a lot of pressure of the forward caste on this government, because they were demanding to remove the reservation. So they decided, okay, give something to them also, so they will be happy. So it is the purely political stand.
Possible.
It is not going to solve any problems of the society. Just they can get vote. This is the only, for this purpose only they have brought it. What I have understood.
Dada has already quoted somewhere that even the government job, all job together, they define what they call job is 6%. The population ka 6% is the job, and in that 10%, you can think of what percentage job they are talking for, and they are doing politics for the entire one.
Maximum, Rajendra ji, maximum capacity of any government to give job is between 5 to 10%.
Right.
A government cannot employ more than 5 to 10. Maximum is 10. Up to maximum is 10%.
That is
what is happening? What's happening to the 90% workforce?
Yeah.
And we are fighting for that. They have made everybody come into the street and fight against each other and do everything just for this a small bit of thing. It's all politics.
Fooling people.
And Krishna Sundarji has brought the correct point. Actually, we were missing that point. That actually it was in response. It was in response to the upper caste people, forward class people, that you have done nothing for us. So why we should be voting for you? And that became now the requirement, because now also 2024 election is coming up, so they have to do something.
Right. So, Dada, you suggest, I think now we should close the session because anybody final call?
Yes, please.
If somebody has kept
more people could be speaking. I don't know why they're not speaking. Madhusudan ji, you want to say something? And Gautam Pradhan will say something.
Yes.
First Gautam Pradhan first, because you have not spoken in this session. Gautam Pradhan, then Madhusudan.
Thank you.
नमस्कार दादा, नमस्कार टू ऑल।
नमस्कार।
ये मैं अपना कुछ विचार रखना चाहूंगा इस पे कि एक तो सरकार गरीबी रेखा के बारे में बात करती है। गरीबी रेखा के जो आय की सीमा हर बार बढ़ाती जाती है, तो ऐसा क्या हो रहा है आरक्षण के बेस पे कि गरीबी रेखा के आय सीमा बढ़ाने के बावजूद भी गरीब और बढ़ते जा रहे हैं?
करेक्ट।
सरकार के पास ऐसा कोई प्लान क्यों नहीं है कि गरीबी घटते जाए? बीपीएल कैटेगरी के लोग आज और बढ़ते जा रहे हैं आय बढ़ने के बाद भी। एक चीज। दूसरा चीज, इस जिसमें दादा भी कृष्ण सुंदरम दादा भी जो बोले कि सरकार की पॉलिसी आप देखिए आजादी के बाद से अपीजमेंट मतलब कि लोगों को खुश करने के लिए कभी एसटी के लिए कभी एससी के लिए जाति आधार पर सारे सरकार लोगों को लड़ा रही है। इसमें कंट्रोवर्सी देखिए अभी ईडब्ल्यूएस के आधार पर मतलब इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शन सिर्फ जनरल कैटेगरी में यानी कि कास्टिजन को बरकरार सरकार रख रही है। अगर ईडब्ल्यूएस की बात करें तो इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शन एसटी एससी ओबीसी सब में होना चाहिए। एक तरफ सरकार क्रीम लेयर की बात करती है वो सिर्फ है अदर बैकवर्ड कास्ट के लिए। अगर क्रीम लेयर की बात करें तो एसटी में क्यों नहीं, एसटी में क्यों नहीं, जनरल कैटेगरी में क्यों नहीं? क्योंकि कास्टिजन को सरकार कंट्रोवर्सी देखिए बरकरार इसलिए रख रही है। एक तरफ सरकार बोलती है कि इंटरकास्ट मेरिट करेंगे तो सरकार में सो कॉल्ड लो कास्ट वालों से शादी करता तो उसको इतना फायदा मिलेगा, है ना, और उसको भी सरकार एक तरफ रख रही है। दूसरी तरफ से अपने पॉलिटिकल बेनिफिट के लिए जैसे दादा अभी एक किसी ने बताया कि ऐसे अलग अलग कैटेगरी कास्ट बढ़ते जाएंगे। तो प्राउड के आधार पर जैसे आपने दादा भी बता रहे थे कि इसमें कोई जाति के आधार पर नहीं, अगर हो भी रिजर्वेशन अगर हो भी तो एक देश ये रहे कि इकोनॉमिकली या एजुकेशन वाइज पीछे हैं उनके आधार पर करें। अब देखिए मान लीजिए अभी एसटी या एससी कोई कैटेगरी में किसी को रिजर्वेशन मिलता है, कितना बड़े दुख की बात है कि एक व्यक्ति किसी को रिजर्वेशन मिला हुआ तो अगर वो रिच भी हो गया उसकी फैमिली के तो मतलब 3-4 फैमिली रिच हो गया फिर भी एक स्पेसिफिक कैटेगरी के लिए उनका लाभ मिलेगा। कितनी बड़ी विडंबना है, कितनी बड़ी विडंबना है। तो प्राउट अगर जैसे बोलते हैं यहाँ पर कास्ट के साथ, क्योंकि प्राउट तो हम इसमें बिलीव करते हैं कि डिस्क्रिमिनेशन ऑफ कास्ट कलर एंड क्रीड इज मोस्ट डेंजरस फॉर ह्यूमन सोसाइटी। तो बाबा ने कभी कास्ट के हिसाब से कभी कोई चीज को नहीं कहा।
थैंक यू। आगे बढ़ते हैं। थैंक यू गौतम प्रधान जी। मधुसूदन जी हैज टू से समथिंग एंड देन वी गो टुवर्ड्स कंक्लूडिंग द सेशन।
Okay. There was some mention about democracy, and I wanted to mention something. I've been doing some reading lately about U.S. history, and in the 1860s, when slavery was outlawed in the United States after the Civil War, they found out that in some of the southern states, particularly Alabama, the formerly enslaved people were more numerous than the slave owners, that is the white people. So they thought, they got scared. They said, well, if we can free them from their slavery, but if they become the majority, they're going to put us in slavery because they'll become running the government. So they said, okay, we'll free you from slavery, but we won't give you the vote. And it took years and years and years and years and years, long time before. And that thinking actually is still present in American society, in many parts of the society, that they're worried that the minorities, so-called minorities, who are actually the majority, are going to take over their minority position. Thank you.
Right. Same thing happened probably in South Africa. Yes.
Right. South Africa is the classic case.
Yes.
You know, that was due to the struggle of our great person.
That is why they were scared. Yes, Varunji, please. Thank you.
Varun.
Yeah, but I want to say something about South Africa. In the United States, there was so much criticism of South Africa without anybody thinking, oh, we're doing that here.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, I wanted to tell about this thing that when we discuss reservation, we often categorize the Indian reservation system or we think that it is a poverty alleviation program, which it is not.
Yes, absolutely. You're right.
And what we do quite often is we give PROUT system of reservation, reservation or the elevation of backward class as an alternate system or an alternate approach to the Indian reservation system, which is also not a wise thing to say, because PROUT's policy of elevation of backward class is in a whole setup of Proutistic system. And if we are talking about the Indian system or the Indian society right now, if we see a problem of representation, then we cannot say that the solution for this issue is the Proutistic elevation program. The solution for this representation in the politico-economic system which we are, according to me, is the Indian reservation system right now. It's not the PROUT reservation, the elevation program of PROUT, because it has got its, as Bimlanand Dada has said, that the PROUT's economic system, it's a holistic thing. We ought not do this, that okay, we have problem in our Indian society, we accuse that reservation is not elevating poverty. No, it's not a poverty elevation program. It was basically for representation, and my personal view that I don't see any solution. I see a solution, but this reservation system, according to the problem of representation, is fine according to me. It's not that much I mean that much वो बिल्कुल गया गुजरा नहीं है, उसमें कुछ वैल्यू है.
चलते हैं, आगे बढ़ते हैं.
Trying to say.
Thank you. आगे बढ़ते हैं. चलिए राजेंद्र जी, please.
I think if you permit, Dada, we should conclude because new points are not coming. And
yes.
Or if you allow me, I will take 5 minutes to read, but it will be repetition what Baba says about.
Yes, please conclude it using that.
Yeah, I'll conclude mainly because this brother was saying Varun, which Baba is already saying, and we discussed this point. Baba never talked about India. Baba, anything, okay, he give reference where he is, but he is talking about the entire world. Baba is saying that throughout the world, many groups of people are in urgent need of relief. They are suffering from physical, psychic, and spiritual deprivation because the different socio-economic system is vogue only pander to a particular section of society, neglecting those in need and society as a whole. That is what Sudarshan Dada was saying, that we say that, I mean, it is for the welfare of the majority, but the fact is, it is the minority of vaeshyas who is ruling over the majority. And the Proutistic social order follows the principle of sarva and hitaya, which we discussed. So PROUT supports the rule of sadvipras. That also we know. But Baba again gives here, brother, that until PROUT is established, however, a special effort should be made to protect the interests of the backward classes, as we gave an example of tribals, what we should do. And in some countries, Baba says that words such as in India, the job reservation, which we discussed. And here Baba says that how the job reservation can be of worth. If we follow this, it is an interim system. It is not that we are suggesting for the reservation. If the kind of, the way we are giving reservation, if we follow what Baba says, that preference should be given to the non-poor people and then poor people. So if we follow these 4 principles, that first poor people coming from backward families should get preference. And then the second preference should go to the poor people coming from non-backward families. And third preference should go to the non-poor people coming from backward, and then non-poor people coming from the non-backward. This is the sequence Baba is suggesting. If this way, the backward means, and Baba is very clearly, the backward family means who did not get any services or education in the past. Such families should continue to get these facilities until the poverty in the country is alleviated. At least the minimum requirements are guaranteed. And that was the expectation when our constitution was made. But later, on the very word of reservation, that's what we discussed a lot, the politics started and nowhere we are going as a reservation. So thus the criteria for receiving preferential services in education should not be birth affiliation. Baba is very, very clear. And entire philosophy is very clear. We don't believe in caste, creed, birth affiliation, or any kind of. And Baba gave an example also that why the poor people should be given preference. He gave an example of the Maithili Brahmin. He gave an example of the so-called backward people. Even if he's rich, he should not get the reservation. So PROUT is very clear. And Baba is saying that if we follow this system, temporary system, they should eliminate any feeling of inferiority from their mind. This is a wonderful thing we not discussed. The worst thing in reservation is people get the inferiority complex. And Baba says that all would have an opportunity in this method. That is what Baba says based on the economic situation, reservation if at all is there. And this way, if they will be earning their livelihood and there will be no complex in their mind, and on the basis of their capabilities, they will be happy. So this is what Baba is suggesting till PROUT establishes. Never get confused. Baba is very clearly saying PROUT, the policy of reservation doesn't go with the PROUT policy. So that is what I would like to end here, Dada. If you have anything to say, few words. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. You have done a great job, and I think we have discussed thoroughfare. And I know many people could be speaking, but I also understand that they're not speaking because they're agreeing with what is being told, and it matches, it echoes their own thoughts. What we are saying is also expressing their own thoughts. That's why they're not again repeating the same thing. So thank you all very much, and please keep bringing the issues so that Open Forum always has some current issues for discussion.
Next issue will be, Dada, if you permit, I would like to declare that it will be on the atrocities against women.
Yes.
That will be the subject next Saturday.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. Very good.
Namaskar, namaskar.
Now let us do 1 minute of meditation as per our protocol before we close the session.
Thank you. Yes, 1 minute of meditation, please. Time is up. Okay, Parampita Baba ki jai.
Thank you, everyone.
Please, same time next Saturday, 8 p.m. Please join us again. Yes, namaskar.
Thank you all.
Namaskar.